Welcome everyone to another episode. It is a pleasure again to have Mr. Michael Valdes, president of eXp Global. Michael, so many things happening. Last week was the convention for eXp. We call it eXpCon, right? 2020. I don't want to say anything. I just want to listen to you. Man, the numbers, the numbers you share, man, it's just incredible. Can you just say a little bit about what's happening in 2021 and 2022?
Well, let's start by just talking about eXpCon, because eXpCon was amazing. This is, you got to think about this. This is a virtual conference, right? We're a virtual world. There was 16,000 people in here, either live streaming or in the world. We broke the world 3 times. It's sort of like, because it was the capacity of people that kept coming in. There's a funny story that Glenn couldn't get into his own session. It was so funny. There was so many people on. But it was great. We sorted it all out. Everyone had a great time. But imagine, that was just the technology that we're talking about. Everyone is excited about what this story is. And so we started talking about the fact that, we're at 38,000 plus agents right now. It keeps growing. We keep growing at 1,000 agents a month. It's crazy. And so now we started looking at what our trajectory is going to be, especially internationally and globally, right? So we launched in South Africa a month ago. We launched in India yesterday. We're launching in Mexico in 10 days. Right after my interview with you, I'm doing the introduction of the Mexico model as a webinar into the market. We've got 900 people pre-registered just to find out what the story is. We're both Latin. We don't pre-register for anything.
Exactly, right? Send me the link 2 times, 3 times, and still we have issues with that. Right?
So everyone's excited about the message that we're bringing. We're going to do Portugal and we're going to do France in early December. So we'll have those 5 countries done before the end of this calendar year. So what we're projecting is that by the end of this year, we'll be at roughly 10% of the agent count domestically, and we're on track for that. So we figured by the time we get to an end of an agent count, so we should be over the 40,000 mark.
Right.
We'll have roughly 4,000 agents outside of the United States. Then we look at next year. Next year, my target is 25% of the market that we will have for agent counts. We have an incredibly aggressive number count for next year, roughly about 100,000 agents. So that growth would be exponential. That would be more than 100% growth. And so, but we're getting there, right? It's sort of like our last quarter, we announced a 56% agent growth from the same time last year. We saw a 100% growth in revenue from the same period last year. And so the idea that we're looking at 100+% growth in agent counts is not that crazy. Right. When you start looking at the fact that we're opening in India that has 1.3 billion people, when you start looking at Mexico at 160 million people, when you look at both of these markets that have no licensing regulations in the real estate industry, so you're looking at roughly over 1 million real estate agents in both territories. When you start looking at this, those numbers are not that extraordinary. Mm-hmm. If you start thinking about India, 10,000 agents would be less than 1% of the market.
That's it.
Right? And so we're not a franchise. We're a business platform. We're making the agent the brand. So we're just giving them tools.
So that's the key. When you said, we're not a franchise, and many people, and you and I have many conversations with people in Mexico, right? So what does it take to bring the franchise? It's not a franchise. So what do you mean it's not a franchise? Well, it means that you can be ready for business next day once we open the country, right? And that's why we've seen the growth. But make no mistake, yeah, we're the fastest growing company in agent count, but in this few years, it is the 4th in volume in the United States and the 3rd in transactions closed. And by 2020, it'll be higher than that, right? So it's not only about agent count, it's also about productivity.
That's right.
which is very, very, very important. So those two metrics are amazing. Agent count and productivity. Very, very good.
Right on the head. You hit it right on the head. Everyone sort of like a lot of our competitors keep talking about our model and the fact that we're just a recruiting machine and it's all about the growth line and everything else. You can't participate in the growth line because we're not Amway. We're not selling suitcases.
Right.
We're
Right.
selling real estate. If you
Right.
don't sell real estate, you don't participate in a downline.
Right.
You
Exactly.
don't participate in,
Right.
right?
Well, one of the other points that I make is, okay, I challenge you, Mr. Agent or Mr. Broker, to find me a company with more top producing agents. I'm showing you one after the other, but those are 150, 200, $300 million producers.
That's
You
right.
show me any other company, agents that are that level, and they just can't find it. And that's the beauty of it.
And the more that we grow internationally, the more that we attract those people, because those are the ones that have a global business. And so by the end of this year, we'll be in 9 countries. By the end of next year, we'll be obviously in double-digit countries. And so that is an exciting story to tell. It's the idea that, I did this at eXpCon. I actually did a analysis of even the 5 countries that we were going into, right? So you had a $1.7 trillion GDP of just the 5 countries we were going into. We had a population of 1.7 billion people, billion. And then we had an agent pool of roughly 3 million plus people. That's just the 5 countries we're doing this year. That's nothing to even do with what my plan is for next year. And and then so next year the agent count we're looking at 25%. In 2022, I'm looking to be even with whatever the US numbers are. And then in 2023, it would just make sense that there would be more agents outside of the United States than inside.
And I remember texting you and saying, I love those numbers. You said you're going to be by 2022 the same number of agents internationally that nationwide. And you said to me, brother, it's just simple math.
It's simple math. There's more
Right?
people outside of the US. It's only 350 billion people in the US, right?
Exactly.
It's sort of like I just sort of said that the 5 countries that I had combined had 1.6 billion people, right? So
Right.
it's sort of like that is simple math, right?
Exactly.
It's
So
4 times
those,
the amount of the US.
that's it. As you said, simple math. No.
Right.
So for those agents that are watching in Portugal, in the future in France, in Mexico, in India, right, in South Africa, understanding the importance of the platform. You don't need to be a franchisee. You don't need to license anything. You don't need to have a build out. You don't have to, pay for infrastructure. And that's what's going to give you the mobility and the agility to grow your business much faster. Now you do have the technology, the platforms, you have all the training, the courses, the ability to compete in a global market because all of the platform, all of the things that eXp platform is giving you.
And you don't have to pay for it. You
That's,
don't have to sort of pay for the bricks and mortar of an office. Doesn't exist, right? We have a virtual office for you. The idea of doing the training, we'll do it for you. If you had your own brokerage, you have to train your agents. You don't have to do that here. You have to sort of like, you figure out where your listing distribution is and you have to pay for it. You don't do that here. The agent pays a small monthly fee in wherever country they're in. And that covers everything. That covers what it is that they're needing to do. And if you're a brokerage, you cannot pay your agent 100%.
exactly.
You can't stay in business.
Exactly. So if you're an agent or a broker outside the United States or in the United States, think about this, right? Number one, can you do the coaching for your agents, or do you want to give it to the company where they can actually train your agents at the highest level? Number two, do you have a platform that allows you to compete in the global market or in your local market? And number three, do you have the compensation structure that is going to allow you not only to bring agents to your team, group, or brokerage, but more important, to retain them and make them productive?
What do you think the answer would be?
EXP. It's very simple, by the way. And I say, well, but these guys are selling the vision. Yes, we're selling it because we see the numbers.
That's right.
And that's what I say to people is that, I challenge you to find a platform that allows you to give your agents the coaching, the platforms, the community, and finally the compensation structure. And if you find one that is better, hey, that's the one you should use.
But you know what it is? It's also not just about the numbers. It's about what it is that changes lives. right? You're changing people's lives. And it's and you know, I was in Dallas last week for an event. I know you were in Orlando. But eXp did socially responsible smaller events around the country last week where it was celebrating our top agents in the different parts of the United States. And so I was in Dallas, and Glenn Sanford, our founder, was there. And you know, and it was limited to 50 people in each of the three locations. And so I got to tell you, every time that I was with Glenn, somebody else came up to him, and these are the top agents, to thank him for changing their lives. And so that you can't put any monetary value on.
Right.
That is something where if you look at someone and you know that you didn't just change your life, you changed the life for your kids. And so that is something that is just an emotional connection that just you just can't put a value on that.
Right. And I remember I sent you a video from last week when we were in Orlando. I've been
Yeah.
doing seminars for 22 years, and I usually do 3 seminars per week. Never cried before in a seminar. And by the way, it's in my social media. I didn't know I was being filmed.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help it, but I cried because I saw this community of agents helping each other, working as one unit. So as you said, yeah, financially, the model, the training, the platforms are great, but at the end of the day, I saw that I was changing my life, my business, and I was changing their life. I couldn't stop or cry. And then, it was a very, very emotional but gratifying experience that we have. We have another one on Thursday, and it's already full, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's working as a one community. I never seen that before.
And you know, it was interesting because we talked about Mexico briefly, and so the idea when I present this idea or we present the model in Mexico, people understand that it's not about just being able to change their lives, but being able to change the lives of their family, their neighbors, and their community. And when people embrace that, that's how I know we're going to be super successful in Mexico, because it's that sense of community. If you come from that sense of servitude to others, that's when you're just succeeding like mad. And then this model shines then because it's a pure model.
Right. There is a financial benefit to help each other. And for some people, it might find, it sounds strange or bad, but it's the greatest thing in the world, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So Michael, it's always a pleasure, man. I want to do this like every other week.
Brother, whenever you need me, I'm here.
I know you have, so many things are changing for the better. That the future is much brighter for all those real estate agents are associating with the company, with the teams. And it's always a pleasure talking to you, man. Your energy, your knowledge, the way you're growing the company is just unbelievable.
No, we're doing it as a family, and it's so wonderful. And thank you. Thank you all for the platform. And I'm hoping to sort of like see you in a few minutes on the Mexico call.
I'll be right there. Big up to you, man. Always nice talking to you.
All right, my friend.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Go.